handle their supplements. Okay? So in CCC you have, if you see down here, you have a thing called the motor guide. That is where all your sections are. And if you notice, they're listed front to back. So you want to write an estimate, and you know this in property, a professional estimate that's easy to follow. You want to start at the front bumper and go to the back bumper. Well, CCC's set up to do that. You could write the hood and the trunk lid, and then go back and write the fenders. It's going to put them in the spot right behind the hood. So that way it's easy to follow and easy to read. The only, things that don't work like that are the roof rails. So when you do roof rails, almost all companies at this point on hail manually enter roof rails. So do you know why they would do that? Because if you pick the roof rails out of the system and write them damaged, when they pull that Carfax report later, it's going to show that car is structurally damaged because the roof rails are a structural part, which is why they're double metal for reinforcement. And really, they're only cosmetically damaged from hail generally. So they're handwriting the roof rails. All right, so we had 31 to 50 on our hood. Okay, here's this hood. We're going to tap on it once and just highlight it and see all of our operations across here, this line. They got refinish, blend, R&I, replace, repair, section. There's your parts, recycled, aftermarket, Opta OEM hood. But we're PDR in this hood, so we're going to click on PDR. We're going to go to the quarters, and then we're going to go 31. Well, hang on, it didn't put no money out there. Why didn't it put any money? Because we didn't set our rates. So when you're setting up your claim, the first thing I always do is set up rates.
So this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday with the preparation and everything like that. When you first get these things and you're going out to see that car, if you do all this stuff up front, you're gonna be that much faster in the evenings when you sit down to write these claims. So preparation is key. We preached that all day yesterday, so y'all should definitely understand that part.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we gotta set our PDR matrix in here. See how all of this is zeros?
Yeah.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens when we get to update our matrix. Bang. Now it puts all the labor in according to our matrix. So if you're writing your estimate and you look and you go, hang on here, I've replaced a hood and I've done a roof, we've done some PDR and there's no money, you forgot to set your rates. And that happens a lot.
And that updates per state.
Well, yeah, it updates when you tell it to. Yeah.
Texas rate's gonna be different from Oklahoma rate. So
Yes,
Oklahoma.
exactly, and it's in there, it's gonna tell you, and it's not, like he said, it's not a state thing, it could be down, all the way down to the county, level, so we'll
Okay.
have those different rates in there.
Yeah, this is where your pre-storm orientation and asking questions.
Okay.
But it's So also, you see these 999s?
Mm-hmm.
That's a danger spot, so watch this.
What's the name of the tab that you clicked on? Okay.
That was rates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're setting all your rates, setting your money. Okay, so this hood, we put 31 to 50 on, right? It pays $425 for PDR, that hood. See what that says right there?
Hood rail?
No, ALU.
Oh.
Telling you that hood's aluminum. What's aluminum
okay.
get? 25% markup.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I know sometimes for supplements, if it's something that was done back in July, but then now they have a supplement in January, does it change rates? Do you have to change the rates or you keep it as?
No, you're thinking about an exactly where you have to update the rates and stuff, and then you'll have to go back and apply it. Auto doesn't work that way.
So like I was telling y'all yesterday, the shops have designated rates, and that's what they are. So, and most of the time, especially if it's a DRP shop, Caliber Collision, stuff like that, they're gonna have agreed upon rates.
Right.
So that's already set up in your profiles. You'll never have to go back and change rates once you do it that first time.
Okay.
You wrote a lot of subs if you know that.
Mhm.
You wrote a lot of property stuff compliments if you know that. And that was always my pet peeve, because these roofers would hang on to their supplement. They'd do the house in February when rates weren't high, and they'd wait till June till they updated rates, and then they'd turn in their subs in, even though the house been done for 5-6 months, they get an extra $3,000 because the rates increased. The work's been done. So, yeah, it's lit. Okay, so we wrote that hood, we put our 25% markup on it out here, right? So right now that guy's getting paid $531.25 to PDR that hood. Now here's where it gets tricky. Say our hood we counted, and it's just over 100 dents. So we want to put 101 in there.
Why?
Well, just say our hood had 115 dents.
Isn't that off the
It is off the matrix. And look what happens when you go to enter it. You're gonna pay $10,000 for a hood. And you're only gonna do that one time. You override a hood by 10 grand, USAA gonna tell you, hey man, we appreciate you.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. You know, and there's not gonna be much I can do to save you. But if you're paying attention, and you know that in this storm, see, and this even tells you the cost to repair that hood is, $10,082, and the cost to replace it's $1,080. What do you want to do? Well, it's trying to warn you.
Right.
Okay, it's trying to warn you. But even if you don't, and you end up with $9,999, if you're watching your total up here, and you know you've been writing $5,000 to $8,000 estimates in this storm, and you look down, you got a 16, better go back to your estimate. You better pay attention, stay awake.
So this goes back to the other conversation. It's funny how everything I was talking about yesterday, we're going over now with these estimatics. Remember the anonymous person that might have replaced the cab instead of the roof, not paying attention? This is where it comes in at.
Same guy took the Italy vacation.
Yeah. Well, the other one was in the class with us yesterday.
Oh, yeah, Shan.
Yeah, we're not pointing fingers or nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't yesterday.
You're gonna make a mistake, I'm telling you. Because this year they changed where they kept the roof panels and the cabs. And we're all so fast, he used to be having his mouse waiting for 2 more screens. His mouse was already in the right spot. He was 3 screens ahead of what the computers and the internet could keep up with.
Wow.
Yeah, but now they make one little change, and now you're selecting a cab that's $10,000 versus a roof that's $1,400. And you don't even notice it because we're click, but if you watch your numbers, it'll tell you. So up on the threshold, it used to be where if the car totals at 10 grand, when you got to 6 grand, it would click the threshold. They took that out. So now you gotta watch it hit 60%. And then at 60%, you gotta run your total loss. And in this last storm, they just changed that. And we had a lot of guys write cars into 70 and 80% as those cars were actually totaled and they paid the insurance. So now, just a change, and it caused some headaches. All right, so now let's say our hood had the 115 dents. The PDR guy there says, hey, I want to PDR this. I want $3,200 to PDR that hood. Is that fair? We don't know. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna double check him. We're gonna go to unrelated prior damage. It's gonna bring up an estimate within the estimate. And you're gonna use this area. So now we're gonna see what that hood to replace. So we're gonna double click that hood. Watch this magic happen. Slowly, but it's good magic.
But at this point, wouldn't it just be safe to write it as a replacement and then let them decide what they're gonna do?
Maybe, depending on the situation. This is where I've taught you how to draw stick figures. Now we're gonna make a Picasso. Because we're gonna have to tie what you know about everything all into one repair plan. Okay, so this is a 2018 Subaru. What kind of hood's it gonna get? It's gonna get an aftermarket hood. Keystone. There you go, aftermarket capper right there, that's what we want. Add the estimate. Add for underside, yes, but not with clear coat. That hood is $1,291.97 replaced, painted, and on the car. is $536 for the part, 1.6 hours for the labor, and 3 hours in paint and everything. So that's $12.91, okay? So now we know what we're dealing with, so we're gonna delete that. We're going back to our main estimate, which is the preliminary estimate. Bang, here we are. So he wants $3,200 to replace, to PDR that hood. We got about $1,250 to work with. It's $12.91 to replace it. Why did we go to $1,250? Why are we under that number?
Because you have to factor in everything.
Well, he now no longer has to order a hood. No parts guy has to get involved. He no longer has to paint and match a hood. You know, he doesn't have to do any of that stuff. He can just fix that hood. Okay, so it's gonna be a hair less. Now his complaint is gonna be, well, now you don't have to pay the extra rental car. Now you don't have to pay to match blend fenders, you know. So they're right. So this is where you get in that area. You're in the middle, because the dent guy is not wrong that you don't have to do all that stuff, but the insurance company's not wrong that he doesn't have to do all that stuff. But the insurance company makes rules. Everybody plays by their rules, or they don't play.
So, I mean, it's a situation like that, if you, factor in, if the parts is accessible, now, is it okay to make that call to see if you actually, if it's gonna be a delay in parts, if it,
It has no effect on you.
no, okay, all right.
Yeah, you're merely looking at the numbers and stuff. Now, if he goes to order that hood and he decides, oh, I'm not PDRing it for $1,200, I need 3,000, so it's not worth his time to PDR, so you're gonna write the hood for replace. And then if they ain't got a hood, then at that point, you know, then he can call the insurance back and they'll work a supplement. They might say, okay, since there's no hoods available, we'll give you 1,500, that's max, you know, or something like that. And then, so then you go to write this hood, right? So he's gonna PDR for 1,500.
That's what I was thinking from the beginning.
Yeah. So you're gonna put in your 100 dents, cause that's where it maxes out, because we know at 101 it goes to 10,000. So there's your 100 dents, right? Well, now you got R&I that hood to take it off, put it on the stand. Now you gotta R&I the insulator, okay? Okay, so now you're at 753, well, he wants 1,500. Well, you had some oversize. Gotta go out here and make that an operation for PDR, otherwise it doesn't tax it correctly. How much is an oversized dent? $40. Let's say you had 10 of them on here. So that'd be $400. Now we at 1186, and he getting 1,500. What are we gonna do? You're gonna add a line and change the description. Body line, I don't change nothing. Body line is part of being a tech. Yeah. Now, you had an oversized, you can give him an oversize on the body line. You know, it is a little extra work.
They were mentioning that because there was a bunch of those marked at Taylor's shop at
Yeah.
BL.
Now, and I mean this with the most sincerity, if Taylor was sitting in the room, I love me some Taylor Seago. He's a good guy. He's an honest guy, he runs a good business, but he is a dent guy. He is gonna abuse the system to his best advantage without being fraudulent. Taylor won't cross the line. Taylor's one of about 10 I've ever met. All the others, they want that money. They'll tell you. You know, I see them writing this crazy stuff all the time. But okay, so we're gonna make an off matrix PDR. We got 1186. We gonna give him another $400. Oh no, we gonna give him $300. There's 1510. There's your $1,500. So see how that happened? Because you can't write it over the dent count, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, if you're writing that off matrix PDR, you probably wanna put a note in out there that says, hey, you know, and that's kind of what it's saying, but do you see how that tells a story? You know, and we actually made a mistake here because